welcome to Squirrels of Doom, Drinking with Geeks. I'm Roz.
I'm Matt.
And today we're making the cocktail, the Bee's Knees.
It's a fun cocktail from Prohibition times, but we'll get to that later. First, let's make it.
The Bee's Knees is a classic cocktail with 3 ingredients: sweet, sour, and spirit. And it all starts with ice. The first thing I'm going to add is the honey. We use a ½ ounce of honey. You can also use, if you make your own honey syrups, depending on how sweet you like it, so figure out your own ratio. The honey can be a total pain in the butt because it is super sticky. I like to wait it out, but you are going to have a little bit of honey left in your measuring device. Drops. For sour, we need 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. These lemons are beautiful. The spirit we're using today is Unruly Gin, which is from Courtenay, BC. We toured the Wayward Distillery when we were out on the island. They are super fun, gracious hosts, and super nerdy. Awesome. And we need 2 ounces of gin. And my favorite part, the shake. The Bee's Knees is such a beautiful, delicate, pale yellow color. You can garnish with a piece of lemon or a flower, or we did a lemon spiral today. And Matt managed what is possibly the longest lemon spiral I've ever seen him do. Awesome. The Bee's Knees.
We're back and we've got our drinks and it's time to taste the Bee's Knees.
Oh, they're so good.
It's really tasty. It's quite sweet. I think maybe even a little more lemon or a little less honey.
And we've already decreased the honey a little bit from the initial recipe. We don't like things as sweet as a lot of cocktails might be in their initial ones. So
I think it might be that we like things more sour.
Yeah, we do.
We do like our citrus. So we've made this for ourselves a few times with different gins. And we find that it's a drink that it really matters. Well, it doesn't matter what gin you use, but you're gonna change your recipe based on the gin because there's so few ingredients and it really seems to make a difference in the balance depending on what kind of gin you have. With a more floral, juniper intense gin, we've found that you can use a little more honey. The more classic 2 ounce gin, 3/4 ounce lemon, 3/4 ounce honey works fine. But with this gin, we like to go a little lighter on the honey because it doesn't have as much going on in the floral. It's more just the gin itself, and the gin itself is made from honey, so it has a little bit of a honey flavor, and really quickly the honey starts to overpower it. But used with just the right balance here, it really shines.
So tell us a little bit about this gin, Matt.
So this gin is Unruly Gin from the Wayward Distillery in Courtenay, British Columbia. And they're a really interesting distillery because they actually use as their base that's fermented for everything, honey, which is not used for too many things. You might be familiar with mead as the wine kind of derived from fermented honey, but there's not too many other honey spirits out there. And so it made us really curious and we stopped by there to try it out. We had a great tour at their distillery.
They are lovely people, super welcoming, and their tour is really great. The facility is not enormous, but they will do a very thorough walk around for you. And I think they're doing a really great job of combining some of those classic ways that you can generate your spirit, but with a lot of modern technology solutions. So they're really cool.
And their vats were all named after different Futurama characters while we were there, so they instantly won our hearts.
Bees make honey and jelly? Huh, how come nothing humans make tastes good? Ah!
And we're in love with this gin. It's great. And you can taste the honey in the gin when you have it straight.
It's not especially powerful with a honey flavor when you try it, but it does have a different flavor than most gins, which are generally made from spirits that have distilled fermented grains or potatoes or something like that. Generally a neutral grain spirit. And this has a different base, and it makes a big difference in the flavor. It's really well balanced. But the important thing is that it makes a great bee's knees cocktail.
One of my favorite things to do when you make a bee's knees is to then use old-timey expressions because it's super fun.
It turns out the expression bee's knees actually has kind of an interesting background. One story is that, well, it sounds kind of like business, and, you know, the business is what you need to get the job done, so it's the bee's knees, you know, it's the business.
When you say something's the bee's knees, it means it's great.
The other story about its origin that I like more is that in the 1920s in the US, there was like this spate of slang themed about pairing animals with stuff to mean excellent. So from that we got the bee's knees. Other things were, I guess, I saw something about like the eel's ankles or
The cat's pajamas.
Ah, yes, ruiner of explanations. I was building to that, but yes.
because apparently pajamas were also a pretty newfangled thing in 1920 and were like, ooh, pajamas, which seems...
But why do they go with the cat? Like a bee's knees. I mean, maybe they have knees.
Don't pick your nose.
I wasn't picking my nose, I was scratching.
You was picking it.
I mean, I'm sure they have joints. Well, actually, I'm not, wait, you know what? We're gonna look that up. You took a class on bees. Wait, and cats have meows, but pajamas?
When you see a cat in pajamas, what do you think? That's fantastic. Right?
Apparently, it's much like early forms of Twitter.
Yeah.
We've always loved cats, whatever your social media form was.
The bee's knees drink form appears to have originated during Prohibition, much like lots of cocktails as an attempt to disguise bad gin and bad other stuff.
Bathtub gin?
By adding honey and lemon to it to give it a better flavor. Fortunately for us, when you stop using bad gin and start using good gin, you still get a great drink, and instead of it disguising grossness, it all comes together into this really nicely sweet and sour, summery, refreshing cocktail.
And you spiraled the bejesus out of that.
I
Look at
did.
that thing.
I'm not very good at spirals normally,
It's like a slinky in there.
but I done good. I think that's that.
The bee's knees are indeed the bee's knees.
Cheers to the internet.